18-year-old man is dead after he was shot in the back here at the corner of Sterling and 8th Street. One man in the neighborhood says he actually heard the gunshot.
We hear gunshots all the time here. It was like 22s or 9mm or something like that. But this was like a pow, loud.
Colin Main says it was so loud that at first he thought it was a car crash. Main lives just a block from where the 18-year-old was shot in the back.
I saw the gentleman in the street, and they were working on him for like 20 minutes.
The 18-year-old later died at the hospital as a result of his injuries. Main says his neighbor saw the shooting suspect.
One of the witnesses, my neighbor, saw the guy run down the street and go down this street.
The street Main is referring to is Ransom Street. As investigators searched the scene, a SWAT team was called in after a canine led them to evidence at a home on that same street.
Once they followed the path with the canine and they were around the residence, they heard movement inside of the house which evidence was found at. And so we don't know if there's someone in there or information that we have now that is possibly an animal.
After SWAT went in, they were seen coming out about an hour later as officers began clearing the scene. Mouton says the suspect was not found in the home, but investigators do have a description of him. A motive is still under investigation. Reporting in Lafayette, Jazmin Thibodeaux, KLFY News 10. Lafayette Metro Narcotics Agency were searching for drugs here at Simcoe Food World and Junior's Apple Tree after a long, intense investigation. One person in the community says the crime in this area is a reason for concern.
I think it's wrong that they have kids around here that come, and I come around here often, and this is not what I want my child to see, something like this.
The resident chose to remain anonymous. She fears for her life and family after seeing a lot of illegal activity in the area. Lafayette Metro Narcotics Captain John Babin says they had gathered enough information to launch an investigation.
We executed a search warrant for synthetics.
Once inside the stores, agents had to use what appeared to be pry bars.
Trying to gain access into some of the places inside the store that were locked, and we didn't have combination to them.
Captain John Babin says the Lafayette Metro Narcotics Agency will continue to fight the presence of illegal drugs in the community. In Lafayette Parish, for KLFY News 10, I'm Jazmin Thibodeaux. Residents here at Sunny Acres Trailer Park are now being forced to move. Many of them say this sign here is the only eviction notice they have received.
I came home yesterday and the sign was in New York.
Chantel Maciel has lived here for the past 6 years. She says this is a low-income neighborhood of about 250 people, and most of them do not have enough money to move in 60 days.
I have 4 kids, one in the hospital in NICU. I can't. I need to be here around my son. At least if they can give us more time. 2 months is, what is 2 months? I have school starting with 3 kids. That's more money on top of it.
Maciel has already called 10 other trailer parks to find a space. She says none of them will accept her trailer since it is over 15 years old. It's also hard to find someone who will move a mobile home that old. Nell Nystrom has lived here for 17 years and is now fighting the same battle.
What are these people supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? I know where my help's going to come from. The Lord's going to provide everything I need. But what about these poor people?
The Arkansas-based Doyle Rogers Company owns Sunny Acres. A manager says the owners have a new development in the works that does not include mobile homes.
It's so hard, why are they going to do this to us? And there's so much families here.
Residents say they are now searching for a new place to call home. Reporting in Lafayette, Jazmin Thibodeaux, KLFY News 10. This boat launch here in Melville was a place of peace and quiet for many residents until this barricade was placed here, blocking all access. Lifelong residents Jerry and Cindy Williams say they were never notified that this would be happening.
It's just a certain thing just came on up.
Williams and his wife Cindy frequently fished and even swam in the river prior to this barricade. They still have equipment in the water. Both were shocked to see DOTD workers blocking their entryway to the Atchafalaya River.
This has always been where we come just to get peace and quiet. I throw all my troubles in that water when I come out to this river. That's my closest thing to God.
DOTD Public Information Officer Deidre Druette says the area was a ferry landing that was closed in 2010. Druette says DOTD utilized the landing through a right-of-way agreement with Union Pacific. Once the landing was closed, the agreement was left in limbo. She says it was discovered residents were using the landing as a boat launch, and that's when barriers were put up for liability reasons. 84-year-old Richard Satterley says local commercial fishermen will now take a big hit.
Best living I ever made, and I worked construction work. I ran companies. But fishing was the best business I was ever in.
Fishermen will now have to travel at least 15 miles to either Krotz Springs or Simsport to launch their boats. After this, Williams says there's not much left in the town.
After they took the ferry, then the school left. After the school left, then we started losing the stores. We lost the bank. It's the only freedom people got. Now they're taking the sea.
Williams, along with other residents, say they will contact their elected officials to find out what is happening and if they can get this barricade removed. Reporting in Melville, Jazmin Thibodeaux, KLFY News 10. After the filing of a federal lawsuit against St. Landry Parish government, the Acadiana Addiction Center was given the go-ahead to operate a facility here on their property in Sunset. Since this land is located in a rural subdivision, residents in the area are highly upset.
My biggest concern is they're bringing these people in here, but they never had any courtesy of coming to tell any of us what these people, that if they had criminal backgrounds.
Sense of security in our homes, who's going to be wandering the streets. I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of concerns that we have.
St. Landry Parish government passed an ordinance last August which prevented the center from building in the area. This was 3 months after the center purchased these 10 acres of land for over $1 million. But on Wednesday, council voted not to enforce the ordinance.
It's a matter of not having zoning in place or land use policies in place prior to Acadiana Addiction Center coming into St. Landry Parish. Based on best attorney's advice is that it would be something that would be very costly to defend and also very unlikely to be won.
Posey Carrier is a 36-year resident of the Choctaw subdivision. She feels this facility could disrupt their quiet neighborhood.
We named this house Dernier Ménage, which means last move, and it's built to take us into our old age with the 2 stories. And this is just alarming to me. At this age and stage in my life, we're traveling a lot. I don't feel like my home is possibly going to be safe.
Carrier, along with other residents, say they should have been informed about the use of the facility before the land was purchased. The center's attorney, Brent Barrier, agrees more conversation could have helped residents have a better understanding of the facility. Some residents in the area say since this facility is moving in, they're considering moving out. In Sunset, Jazmin Thibodeaux, KLFY News 10. Attorney for the Western District of Louisiana, Stephanie Finley is the first woman to hold this position in the state, a notable accomplishment for a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force who's still serving her country.
A lot of people don't know that I'm still in the reserves in the Air Force, that my active duty was really the foundation of what brings me here.
Finley became the chief law enforcement officer for 42 of the 64 parishes in Louisiana in 2010. As a judge advocate, Finley is assigned to the Air Force Global Strike Command at Barksdale Air Force Base. She has served 4 years on active duty at England Air Force Base in Louisiana and Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina.
It's special when you're asked to come from the line in an office that you have grown up in. And so it was an honor, obviously, when the senator recommended me and the president nominated me. It's a real honor.
She oversees both criminal and civil cases. Finley says it's an honor to be the first female to hold this position for the state.
I think if part of what I've done here is help other people want to do this job, and really men or women do this job, then that's a plus.
Finley leads a busy life, but she credits her military background with helping her maintain the lifestyle.
It's a huge responsibility, but it's also, again, an honor to be able to know when you leave this office, when you lay your head down at night, that you are doing the right things for the community, to keeping them safe, to, again, representing the United States on both the civil and criminal side.
Finley says her goal at the end of the day is to have given it her all in service. In Lafayette, Jazmin Thibodeaux, KLFY News 10. Lighthouse Christian Preparatory School in Abbeville now has their own local star, Corinne Hawthorne. As many may know, Hawthorne is a contestant on The Voice, but at home she says she's just your normal teenager.
As an artist and on the musical side, I've grown a lot, but just as a normal person, I'm still like, oh, like, they want to take a picture with me? Like, why? Like, I don't know. It's still so weird to me. Like, I still feel normal.
Hawthorne is a 17-year-old high school junior. She says she's been singing since she was 6 years old.
I keep saying this is so surreal. Like, I can't believe that it's happening. I don't know. I'm going to wake up one day and it's going to all come down and I'm just going to be like, oh my God. But right now, I'm so blessed and just thankful.
Hawthorne's mother, Summer Simon, says she's proud of her daughter. She still remembers the day she realized Hawthorne had a gift.
She did a pageant or something at church one day, it was clear that she had something, you know, and we had a vocal coach who was actually a friend of mine. She came and told me, like, your daughter has something special and you should surround her with music. And that's kind of what we did.
Hawthorne says she has a strong support system.
I'm so proud of Corin. Like, this is amazing.
The pastors of our church had spoken a word to her and told her that her gift was going to be seen. So we've been waiting since she was a little girl for something to break forth and this gift to be shared with the rest of the world.
Hawthorne is taking it all in, one day at a time.
It's a lot, but I'm thankful and I want it. I want more.
Hawthorne says she's hoping to continue moving forward in the competition and fulfill her lifelong dream. In Abbeville, Jazmin Thibodeaux, KLFY News 10.